You have to switch your Wi-Fi off and walk to the back to lose your signal.
Oh, okay. We just don't have anyone. Let me text Christine. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Hello.
There we go. Hi, honey.
How are you?
Okay. Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. All righty. I'm going to do, hoping I can do this. Let's see. So Taylor, like I'm not getting, I went off the internet here. Oh, here we go. I got Connie back. All right. I'm trying to do this. I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it here at my family's house in Palm Springs. And it's like, I'm in the one room that has the best light. There's the internet's not great. So. All righty. Okay. Hey, Trish.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Doing okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hi. Oh, my son's.
Pardon?
Oh, my son's shouting out hi.
Aw, hello.
Hi.
Okay.
That I think has been the hardest struggle is just the online learning stuff with them.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Just what my daughter went through, like her last semester. She was in her bedroom for 10 hours a day studying.
Mm.
Her freshman year of college, she had to come home, and she was meant to be in Malaysia, and oh Lord.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's start on our backs, and I don't think we need any props today. So let's see. Hopefully you can see me here. Okay, great. All right. So we're on our backs, knees bent. And just start to reach your arms up overhead. And your feet are in line with your knees, which is different than I normally have you do it. But I want you with your feet in a little bit closer, and then start rocking your knees side to side. And begin cultivating Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose only. And just letting the knees come back to the center. Now take your arms and extend the arms out on either side, and palms face the ceiling. This time let your feet get as wide as the mat or wider, and then just start to rock the knees. But when you get to whatever side you're getting to, just linger and maybe even just press a little bit on the inside foot and see if that helps you get just a little bit more juice in the hip flexors. If you wanted to, you could oscillate your head and neck in opposition. And again, just in a rhythm with the breath, and encourage a longer in-breath and a longer out-breath as you're doing this. So as you're doing this and pressing on that inner foot, you might notice that as you're doing that, it's easier to engage the glutes on that side. So I just want you to start to notice. In fact, let's just sort of let all of us, let's just let our knees fall to the left. Let them fall to the left and press a little bit more into the right foot. And then feel the right side of the gluteal body engaged. Notice two things, hopefully. One is that you get a little bit of length and might even have some sensation in the front of that right hip and the hip flexor. But I want you then to also gently draw the belly in. So a lot of what we're working with today is this idea that the glutes and the abdominals aren't separate. And I just want us to explore this idea of integration and letting them support each other. Just recognizing the connection. Let's switch over to the right side and you press into the left foot and engage the left side of the gluteal body. Gently draw the abdominals in, nothing crazy, but just make the connection here. And then we bring both knees back to the center. Draw the knees to the chest, but have the knees be a little bit wide and rock side to side. And then bringing the knees back to the center, and we're going to draw circles with the knees. Draw the knees away. And reverse the direction. And then we bring the knees back to the center. Set the left leg down, knee is bent. Draw the right knee into the chest. Then take the left leg, draw the left leg in and reach the left leg up. Extend that heel, a good little bit of dorsiflexion there. And anchoring in that low back, feel the low belly draw in. Exhale, draw the left leg all the way down and away. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, draw it down and away. Inhale it up, one more. Exhale, draw it down and away. And bring the leg up. And bend that left knee. Take hold, bring your hands around the left knee. And set the right leg down, knee is bent. Draw the left knee into the chest. Just a little bit of pressure there. Feel the grounding of that low back. But also just feel that nice little bit of juice you get in the belly. Now we take that right leg, draw it in, and extend the right leg up. Flex the foot, dorsiflexion, starting to just activate the meridians of the legs. Exhale. Actually, you know what? Let's change the breath on this one. Let's inhale, draw the right leg down. Reach that heel long. Exhale. Activate abdominals to lift the leg. Inhale, reach the leg long and away. Exhale, let the abdominals lift the leg. And inhale one more time, draw it down. And exhale, reach it back up. Then bend that right knee, bring both knees in. Now keeping the knees together, draw circles. So just massaging that, just the rim of the sacrum here, the lip, reverse it. Breathe into it. Move kind of however you feel compelled to move right here. And then we draw the feet down on the mat. So just feel that felt sense, that proprioception. I want to feel my feet in line with my knees in line with my hip bones. Start to press a little bit into the heels, start to activate the pelvic floor, and pressing into the heels, lift your hips and pelvis up. So the belly is drawing in and the glutes begin to activate. You're not jammed, but think about wrapping the gluteal body in. We do this all the time. But just make the connection here. This is the first time we're really kind of making the connection. Abdominals drawing in and the glutes engage. Make that connection. Inhale the hips and pelvis down. Exhale, start to engage the glutes, lift up. Inhale it down. Exhale, lift up and down. And one more, lift up and down. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Take the arms, extend them overhead into Supta Baddha Konasana, and just use this as a bit of a break, but also an opportunity to reset the spine. So feel that natural curve come into the lower lumbar and the natural curve of the cervical spine. Kind of press the shoulder girdle down. Just breathe into it, relax into it. And then we draw the knees together. And let's just maybe draw the knees in. Let's cross at the ankles and let's just roll up once. If you're on carpeting, maybe you get a little bit more. If you want a few more little rolls here. And then come on up to all fours. So we'll start with curling the toes underneath, and let's just sit back and start to wake up your feet a little. So it's a little bit of rocking back and forth. But start as you're doing this. So yeah, it's about the feet. We always want to take the opportunity to wake up the feet. But it's also when you are in this position, it's easy to access the transverse abdominals. It's kind of the only way to really hit them. Not really, but for the most part. So you just feel yourself, and it's all in the attempt. Feel yourself just drawing the belly up. Next time your hips are back, stay back a little bit. Shift your hips a little bit side to side. And then we come back. Come back up. So maybe the hands move a little bit further in front. It's whatever feels comfortable for you. That's all that really matters to me. And I'm going to walk my knees in a little bit closer together just because I'm going to eventually just be loaded on one knee. So having them in a little bit closer can sometimes help. And you're going to take your right knee and draw it in and really try to keep your hips stable and reach the right leg back. So you're going to slowly draw the knee in. That's an exhale. Inhale, reach it back. So I don't want to dump, I don't want to stack. I want to just work the hips here. But I am starting as I reach the leg back to engage the glutes. But I want you to keep the abdominals engaged the whole time. I'm just working the right leg. When I reach the leg back, the glutes engage. Trying not to stack those hips. Trying as much as you can. Bring that knee in as close as you can to the chest. Let's do it one more time. Reach that leg back and set it down. So just do a little reset here, because again, it's tempting, especially because we're kind of lingering on one side. It's tempting now to maybe load more on the right side. Keep trying to balance as much as you can in the body, especially keeping the hips stacked. So we exhale, the left knee in, and slide the leg back. Engage the glutes when you lift. Exhale. Inhale, maybe flex the foot if that helps with that gluteal engagement. Yeah, good breath. Let's do one more. and bring that left knee in. Let's do some cat-cow. And bring yourself back. Now, just to a more neutral position. Shift your hips and your shoulders side to side. It's like you're trying to slide your shoulders towards your hips, so that make sure you're working in the same direction, not in opposite directions, so you get a little length in the side body. And then bring yourself back to the center. So let's just come to the top of your right hand and wiggle your fingers here. So take care to load a little bit more in the legs, not in the wrists. Just get some movement here. And then the other hand. And release it. Let's take the right knee. We did this last week, and I like this for a lot of reasons, but right hand, right knee, left foot out, and load. Really sort of seal that outer left foot. Reach the left arm up, and exhale, draw it over. Maybe move your hips a little bit more forward. If your neck feels like you need support, you could always bring your hand behind your head here. So that if it just feels like it's too much of a free fall, or you feel too much tension, especially near this occipital ridge here, then just feel free to hold it. Otherwise, just reach it over into rainbow. And then exhale. Through the center, second side, right foot out. Again, I want to seal the outside of that right foot. Reach the left arm up. And exhale, rainbow it over. Sneak down here so you can see me a little better. And exhale back to all fours. I'm going to center myself a little bit more here because I don't know that you can see me fully. So we're from all fours. I'm going to play around with some down dog here. Let's just play around with it. Just kind of wake up the body. Wake up the back body. And then we just start to walk the feet to the hands and the hands to the feet. And we find ourselves in the center of the mat. And your feet are as wide as they need to be for you to be comfortable and have a nice bend in the knees. And just let that head be heavy. If that feels like it's too much, support it. But otherwise, just sway side to side here. Consciously bring in a breath into this back body. Just be fully aware of the back body. Open it up, lengthen it up, breathe into it. And then we come back to the center. Inhale, arching it up halfway. And then exhale, forward fold. But notice I'm still really bent in the knees. Pitch your weight forward, chin to the throat. Come up really slow. Let your arms be like water. Actually, it's like you want to almost pretend like you've got like 5-pound weights to see if that really helps you keep. You're creating a kind of depression in the shoulder girdle. So you come all the way up. Roll the shoulders. So I'm going to turn my back to you, but I want you to just stay as you are. It's just, I want you to start to play around with retraction here of the shoulder blades. So it's like I'm just moving these shoulder blades around. So I want to just really feel movement. Now maybe reverse the direction and start to play around with retraction and protraction. Breathe into, I always sort of consider the space between the shoulder blades its own nervous system, essentially. So breathe into this, wake this up. This tends to hold, this gets really congested here. for a lot of people, especially if we're not utilizing or calling upon the core properly. There are these places that we leak, and for a lot of us, it's there. So just breathe into it and just kind of play around with it. Play around also when just move now, whatever way you feel like compelled to move, but play around with creating depression in the shoulder girdle. Just play with it. Breathe in it. And then bring yourself back. Shoulder girdle down. So inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, start to open up your feet. And then bring your hands down on your knees and just shift side to side. Now, draw the belly in here. Draw the belly in. And you're just shifting in this weight side to side. And then come forward, flat back. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what we're doing. So I'm coming down. I'm really drawing my hips back. My belly's strong. Feel the weight load in the heels. Then bring yourself back to the center, holding it in stillness. Now just work with this idea that you're creating internally a corset. And see if you can stabilize in that corset as you float the arms forward without letting the shoulders creep up. So keep the arms forward. Draw the belly in. If it's too much, come up a little bit higher, okay? But what I care about is that I'm loaded in the heels, so I'm starting to activate the glutes, but my belly is drawn in. Make that connection. So the idea is that I'm activating the abdominals to help me with my glutes. Then inhale, come up. And you still got this nice wide stance. I'm just going to move so you can see me. You're staying still. Exhale, knees out, and then just bring your hands out. And you've got yourself in kind of cactus arms. Breathe in it. See if you can keep loading in the heels. Go a little bit deeper. And then exhale, hands down. Heels out, toes in. So your prasarita here. And then just shift a little side to side, little skandasana here. I'm not skittering my hands. They're staying still in the center. So I'm lifting my head a little bit so I can get, it's almost like I'm doing an Ardha Uttanasana in this. If you feel like you want to drop your head, you can. I'm also keeping my head up so you can hear me. Working at your pace, just loosening it up. But keep drawing the belly in. And then slowly now starting to release. However you're situated on your mat, you're going to just bring yourself around. Come down onto your knees to all fours. Just bring yourself into all fours. And cat-cow again. And then bringing yourself back to a more neutral placement. Down dog again. So inhale, rise up on your toes, bend your knees, look to your hands. Take as many or as few steps as you want to get your feet to your hands. So you're in a pretty generous forward fold. I mean, generous with the bend of the knees. I just want you to feel freedom in this back body, breathing into it. Just think posterior chain here. Then inhale, arch it up halfway, that's Ardha. Exhale, forward fold, keep the weight pitched forward. Inhale, airplane the arms now, come all the way up. Exhale, cactus the arms, retract in the shoulder blades, belly drawn in, glutes are nice. They're really, again, they're sort of wrapped in. Inhale the arms up, shoulder girdle stays down. Exhale the hands behind the back. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, offer up your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Hands away here. If that doesn't feel good, you could just bring your hands to your waist and try to squeeze your elbows up. It's whatever works for you. Exhale the hands to the floor. Inhale, arch it up halfway. And exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to plank. Now this one we can do with the knee down if you want, but I want you to just pivot over to side plank. Now start to activate the glutes here, lengthen the tailbone and draw the abdominals in. Inhale the left hand down, exhale, switch to that second side. Keep transitioning. You can do it down on one knee if you need. I'll do it this round on one knee. So the right arm up will be the last one. Come back to plank. From plank, knees, chin, chest, come onto your belly. So from here, hands underneath your shoulders, press into the tops of your feet, feel your knees lift, root your pubis bone and draw your belly in. Press the shoulder girdle down and come up. Now, again, think about that sort of wrapping of the gluteal body, but try to lift the belly here, and that's tricky. It's very tricky, and you're not going to get much of a real satisfying kind of engagement, but it's, again, all in the attempt. So what generally happens is we think we're working the back body whenever we're doing these sort of prone poses. But for a lot of us, we're pushing the belly out when we're doing it. Then we're working at cross purposes. So we want to figure out a way to kind of draw the belly in and feel the engagement of the back body. Let's lift the hands, let the hands hover, keep pressing the shoulder girdle down. Then the hands come down, curl your toes underneath, come up to all fours, cat-cow again. And bringing yourself back to a more neutral spine, down dog. Just lift yourself up and back to down dog. Now we lift the right leg up. I don't care if you stack the hips, because sometimes it just feels really good. So lifting the right leg up, reach up on the tippy toes of your left foot. Exhale, draw that right knee to the right thumb. Angle the back foot down. So again, think about what's going on with that left leg. I'm going to seal the outside of that left foot. I'm going to try to wrap that left side of the gluteal body in. I'm already beginning to load in that left leg. Start to activate abdominals, come up. Make the connection here. So I've got that left side of the gluteal body in engagement, and I'm trying to draw just from that low belly in. Arms come up, warrior one. Inhale, kind of at the top of this, and exhale, float your hands down. You could go right back to down dog, or if you wanted to work a vinyasa here, you could. Inhale the left leg up. Rise up on the tippy toes of that right foot. Exhale, left foot, left thumb. Angle the back foot down, so set it up. We're always building these poses from the earth up. So I roll to the outside of the right foot. I've got that nice seal. Right leg strong, right side of the gluteal body engaged. Come on up. It's like my belly has lifted me up. So I feel that engagement. I feel that load. And, you know, it's a sort of it's a little bit of an overcorrection, but what I'm trying to get you to do is not load or indulge that front leg. So I've got my left hip drawing a little bit back, right hip forward, just as long as my back knee is okay. If you need to neutralize to the right, do it. But the belly is in, shoulder girdle down, then the arms up. Nice deep inhale, exhale, either to down dog or work a vinyasa. Inhale, rise up, make your way to your hands, however you want to. Inhale, arch it up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, airplane the arms, strong belly, come all the way up. And exhale, just bring the hands, the palms together, draw the elbows together. It's like I'm trying to reach my prayer to the mat behind me. Feel, again, the side ribs, just feel the side ribs draw inward. I don't want to lose my rib cage here. Then inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, start to bring the prayer to your heart as you do bend the knees. So again, I want to load in the heels. When I load in the heels, that's telling me where the effort is, right? If I load forward in my toes, I'm indulging the knees. I want to work my glutes, but feel that belly draw in. You don't have to be as low as I am. You could be a little bit higher. What I care about is that you feel the weight in the heels. Arms up if that feels okay. You could also do prayer in chair, whatever works for you. So think heels, think abdominals. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, dive it. Strong belly. Come all the way down. Inhale, arta halfway up. And exhale, whatever vinyasa feels right to you. You could just go back to down dog. That's still a vinyasa, as long as you're breathing. And then from down dog, if you're there, or from all fours, back to pose of the child. Let's actually do wild child, feet together, knees apart. Now let the belly go, just so that you're in the contrast here. So I have that greater understanding of release and engagement when I really practice both consciously. Hands come underneath the shoulders, come up, nice and slow, nice and easy. And let's find down dog again. I know we're doing a little bit more up than we normally do, but let's just try it. And inhale, draw the right leg up. Exhale, right foot, right thumb. So now I'm going to be on the ball of the back foot. I'm getting ready for crescent pose. So as I come up, immediately I want to feel the engagement of the glutes on the left side. The legs can be, you can have a lateral stance as wide as you need it to be. Right hip a little bit back, left hip a little bit forward. So again, I feel the engagement of the glutes on that left side, and I'm drawing that low belly in, arms up. So it is a little bit of a back bend here, but again, I don't want to lose the rib cage because I want to keep drawing the abdominals in, particularly the low belly. Sort of envision that the lower abdominals are drawing in and lifting up. Now you're going to take your left hand and drop it down behind you, and it's going to slide onto that left leg and reach the right arm a little bit further back. So now you're in some back bend territory here. Exhale, float that left arm back up. Inhale, sort of reset. Exhale, transition through however you want to. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, left foot, left thumb. You know it's coming. So immediately I draw the left hip back, right hip forward. As I come up, I start to engage the glutes. On the right side, belly draws in. Draw the arms up. Crescent pose. Exhale, we float the right hand down behind. So I don't want to twist with this. I really want to keep my torso as square as I can. Draw it up and back. Wait for an inhale. This time, inhale the right arm up. Exhale, right through the transition. And then come down to wild child or pose of the child, whatever works for you, and release. So in this pose right now, I want you to focus on full release of the pelvic floor. So feel that release. So again, the muscles that you would use to restrict urine flow, release fully here. And notice, especially because you've got gravity helping you, notice if that brings a deeper in-breath or a little bit lower in-breath. If that just naturally occurs, it's almost like you're trying to focus your breath in that pelvic diaphragm.
What is it, Basil? Did you come in the house? Did you go out and then come in? Did you come in through the window? What a clever puss. Clever puss. Yes, the smartest one we have.
Let's draw the hands underneath the shoulders.
What on you?
I feel like we should do a cat pose now. Swing the legs around. Let's come onto our back. So now, I just want to continue with that sensation of full release in the pelvic floor. So we're gonna start with the knees bent. You're on your back. Now, this is very subtle work, but you've been doing this long enough, and you're definitely up for it. It's very subtle work in the pelvic floor, but it's important work because it's also really important to vary up how you do the work in the pelvic floor. So remember, it's 3 layers, but it's very much a grid. There's a left, a right, a front, a back, a lot of muscles, like 16 muscles. So I just want to start to work on this idea, and I'm going to do it really slowly with you, with the breath. Inhale, I'm going to release the pelvic floor, and I'm going to let the right knee drop to the right. Hopefully you can see. Okay, now without my hips rocking, right, I want to stay as centered as I can. I'm going to activate those P muscles and let that activation bring my right knee back to the center. So this is that contrast in engagement of release. Inhale, the left knee down. Feel not only the release, but feel the gradation of release, or feel that articulation of release. Exhale, pelvic floor. Let that lift your left leg up. You're going to feel this like way more right side, left side, which is, I think, also a lovely way to just establish a relationship with the pelvic floor. Inhale the right knee to the right.
And right into the window. You're just so smart.
And then exhale, engage the pelvic floor and bring that right knee back in. Inhale, left knee.
So smart. I know, it's so
Exhale,
cat. Just get right in.
Feel that engagement.
What a cat.
Inhale, right knee. Exhale. Inhale, left knee. One more each side. Left. Okay, now your feet are, let's have the feet a little bit further away, tiny bit, not so much. I want you to start to press into the heels, activate the pelvic floor, and just lift your hips up a little bit. Let's exhale, inhale, release it down. So now we're working as much as we can of the full pelvic floor. Exhale, use the heels, use the glutes, feel that low belly draw in, and inhale, release. Two more. And one more. Nice. So now we extend the legs long, cross the right ankle over the left ankle. Energetically draw the legs together and activate the glutes. And what's that? That is going to give you that nice little arch in the low back, and we want that. So we are remaining engaged throughout in this lower body. Bring the hands behind your head. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. Okay, so we're not going to go any lower than where we are now. And then we're just going to do little lifts. 8, 7, 6. Now, extend your arms out like you're doing, it's like a headstand prep. And here we go. 8, 7, 6. If it's too much, use your arms. 4, 3. Bring your arms down, bring your head down. Uncross and change the cross, left over right. So now, as you're drawing the inner legs together, that's going to help you when you activate the adductors. They're an extension of the pelvic floor, so you get that nice engagement. Glutes engaged, belly drawn in. Now notice, concentrate on keeping that low belly in instead of pushing it up. Just be in awareness of that. Bring your hands behind your head, lift up, and then we pulse. 8, 7. Now extend the arms out. 8, 7. Arms down, legs down. Scoot your shoulder girdle down and just oscillate your head and neck side to side. Just feel that freedom, feel that release. And then bring your head back to the center. Walk your feet back in. So this time my feet are close. I mean, I don't want them so close that my heels are together, because I still want the alignment. Hip bones, knees, feet. But I want the feet close so I have access to the mound of the foot, because that just gives me more leverage. Now cheat a little bit and tuck your shoulder, do a little bit of retraction in the shoulder blades so you get some openness, you get these sort of, you get the femur, or you get the humeral heads open, and you've just got some external rotation here. Now you're going to start to press into the heels, start to wrap the glutes, draw the belly, and lift your hips up. Now it's like I'm trying to stretch my knees away from the body. And then come down ever so slowly. Let's do one more. So I want to press into the heels, wrap the glutes, belly draws in, come up. If you want to go deeper and you want to clasp your hands and maybe create some deeper external rotation, you can. But never at the expense of that belly, because the temptation, and that's pretty much more ego body, I think, is to keep pushing the belly out on this. This is not about the belly at all. That's not going to give you height. All you're going to do is train that belly out. Remember, this has been our whole theme, is the abdominals and the glutes working together. They're both part of the core. And then come down slowly, nice and easy, nice and slow. Now you're going to roll over to the right side and take hold of the left foot. Let's do a little bit of a quad stretch here. Looking forward, not down. So the reasons I'm spending a little bit more time on the quads, certainly, and using it as a form of down regulation, is that sometimes when you're sort of focusing on trying to get the glutes and the abdominal, well, generally what happens is that when the glutes and the hamstrings aren't working in sync, the quads take over, and they're overindulged and they're overworked, and they're generally overworked anyway because we're all sort of in this forward pitch constantly. So I want to just be, it's just to be in this place of not only are we trying to release in the quads, but it's like a reminder, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to keep compensating. Let's release and roll over to that second side. Release. Come back to the center. Let's cross the right ankle over the left knee. Flex the right foot and push the right knee away. So when I do this, we did this last week too, I like to bring the heel of my hand kind of on the inside of that femur head and try to create some more space here. Now, release that little bit of a press and draw the legs in, hold on behind that left leg. So be a little bit confrontational with this. This is a nice way to release the glutes. And we have a temptation, I mean, I think most people do in this, because it's sort of our instinct to avoid discomfort. And we are so in charge of sensation in this, that you have to work a little bit harder to create more sensation. So give yourself the permission to confront that a little bit so that you're getting what you need out of this. Certainly not at the expense of maybe straining in your knee. That's not what I mean, but just kind of play around with where you can move to increase the intensity of this and to maybe move a little deeper. Release slowly. Now we're going to take the left ankle over. Press away again. So I'm just using the heel of my hand to create a little bit of space there. And think about that kind of newfound real estate you're creating. Breathe into it, right? That hip flexor, boy, that's another place, a lot of sitting, like a lot of congestion there. So get in there and breathe in it. And release. Let's draw the legs in. So I'm doing this, I'm coming to you from Palm Springs, and I just, it's the setup here that I can't do my music. So I opened the door so you could at least hear the birds. But it's 111 degrees here. I feel like I'm doing hot yoga. Drawing. So again, I want to be a little bit confrontational with this, right? Where can I increase the intensity? So I'm pretty tight. I can get pretty tight in my, and anywhere in the external hip rotators, I hold a lot of tension there, but I can really play around with moving that sensation by just a subtle shift of the legs. So figure out how to make this work for you here.
Pleasant to sit there. How bad is it?
Sorry? Now release, release. Take hold of both knees, draw these circles away. Back, just more hips up here. Reverse the direction. And then just kind of let the knees open here. Letting the knees open, the feet are relaxed. So I'm letting the hands, just by virtue of the fact that they're holding on to the knees, the weight of this is hopefully giving you a little bit more openness than you would normally have if you were just sort of more passively here. And that's not, I'm not forcing, I mean, I'm not asking the hands to pull the knees apart, but the weight should certainly be increasing that somewhat. And feel this, notice first of all, if you feel tighter on one side, just good to know. And then start to lift the legs up. Bring your hands behind your knees, but keep this wide stance here. So I'm actually in half happy baby, but I'm not holding on to my feet. I'm holding on behind my knees, because what matters to me most is that you have your tailbone down. So you're going to actually shift, create kind of an anterior tilt here in the pelvis. So you can be in that position here. Your feet start to flex. So now, with that same kind of anchoring of the tailbone, because what happens is we start here and then we move into full happy baby and the tailbone swings up. So I want you to really map this and to be really honest with yourself. This is just a good satya practice, which is, if I can't really create that sensation here of getting, like for me to do it today, I'm going to have to do my big toes, because I don't want my tailbone coming up. So maybe you can do that, but maybe you're like me. My arms are a little bit shorter. My hip flexors are tight. So generally, maybe like after an hour and a half, I could do it. But I just want to be in, this is a pose we blow through at the end of our practice without much attention to it. It's such an important pose. So keep grounded in that tailbone. And if you can't sustain it, go back to hands behind your knees. Now we do release the pose and the knees bend, and we draw the knees back together. Take hold of that right knee, draw it into the chest, extend the left leg long. Extend it, flex the foot, reach it long. Take this knee, draw it across the body into a twist. So if you feel like at any point you could start to maybe oscillate your head over to the right side, do so, but you don't have to. And then ever so slowly release back to the center. And draw the left knee in, the right leg extends long. I consider twists to be just a really great part of core workout. Just it's the sort of last bit of love that we give, especially in that low belly, because what we're really just wringing out the internal organs. That's really what we're doing. But of course, we get some nice release in the low back. So we're drawing it in, and then we take the leg across the body into your twist now over to the right. And let yourself progress into this. You don't have to force something. So get to the place that feels good, and then breathe into it, relax into it. If you feel like deepening it, you can, but no stone unturned. Try not to rush it. Now release back to the center. Okay, so soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, arms up overhead. Even though the arms are up overhead, I want you to take a moment to pack the shoulder girdle down and be in that understanding of the radiance of your spine. Feel that natural curve of your neck and feel that natural curve of your lower lumbar. That's a radiant, healthy spine right there. Now concentrate on maintaining that radiance as you slowly start to reach the right leg out and the left leg out. Take up some space here. And then the right arm out to the side and the left arm out to the side. And just ease in to your Shavasana right here. So take a moment here before you move. Just be in the, just that space of savoring stillness and the stillness of the body. Slowly start to move your fingers and your toes. Making your way over right or left side, whatever feels good. Come into your fetal pose and rest in your fetal pose. Press into the top hand and come up real slow, very slow. So bringing yourself up. And just coming into cross-legged seated Sukhasana pose. And draw the hands to the heart. I always just think of this pose as really sort of when we are expressing our own inner Buddha, or it's such a lovely pose to come back to our true nature. And just, even if we just have moments or glimpses of that true nature, without it being sort of distorted by the fluctuations of everything that surrounds us, just returning to that space, to that light. It's just really who we are. And it's here in this same place and space of grace, but also the pose of gratitude that we bow. Namaste.
Namaste.
Stay.
Nice work, everybody.
Thank
So we're not doing this class next week. And Christine is really hoping the studio's open by June, but just keep checking the schedule, okay?
All right.
Okay. All right, loves. Good work today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.